Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday debrief. This is the show where we go through all of the games played so far and we give you all the good stuff. It's a football show which helps our FPL decisions. We talk tactics, we talk average position maps, we talk XG plots, we look at the data, we look at the visuals, and we analyze. And we've got some good teams to analyze. There's only been 5 fixtures so far. Sunday's schedule looks awesome, but we have had some very big FPL teams on show. Bournemouth, Spurs, Arsenal, Man United, Sunderland, Chelsea, Liverpool, all very popular for FPL assets. Welcome to everybody watching live. I'm delighted to do these again live now when I can. And hello to everyone that's watching on catch up. We will go game by game. If you want to skip forward to your game of choice, that's good. If you want to stay for the entire episode, it should be around 45 minutes this morning. Hope you're all in a good mood. Hope you're in green arrows and hope you've got nice Sunday plans ahead. My Sunday is going to revolve around some family time, but also a ton of football. I'm buzzing about all the 2 o'clock games. Not going to lie, guys. Let me know where in the world you are watching from. Good to see so many in nice and early. Hey to Daniel. Hey to Rob and Kristen. Please like the stream, says Tabrez. That's very kind of you, mate. Crimson Skull is in the house. Can't believe Saka took the pen. Fuming. We do have a poll running actually about Saka, or we did have. Keen to know how many of you own him or are looking to buy Saka. I feel like he's going to be very popular. We've got people watching from Egypt, from Nigeria, from Bracknell, a rainy Sweden, the sunny south coast, from Ecuador, Harrow, which is not too far from Heathrow, Basingstoke and Southampton, Braintree and Finland. Love that. Coffee is ready. Uganda in the house, Belgium in the house, Melbourne in the house. Good stuff, guys. Jason, welcome from your mum's house. So many of you in Keith's in Sydney. Don't make us jealous, Keith. Don't make us too jealous. Morning, G. Waiting to pick up Nice before a trip to Hartlepool. Oh, love that. Right. Let's crack on, shall we? Good to see so many green arrows as well. Zambia, North Wellington from London. Oh, Ryan, you've got to tell me when you're in London next. Cape Town, South Africa, Latvia, Essex. There we go. Pompey and Ghana. Right. Let's get cracking, shall we? We are going to go game by game. But before we do, I've got just some stuff in the Scout members area to show. And I love looking at just some of the top line performers so far of the game week. So Saka had the highest XG of the game week so far. Semenyo braced off 0.66. And Gyökeres, hands up if you own Gyökeres. A load of you probably do. 0.63 XG. He should be doing better with that. FPL Nightmare is with us. Guys, if you like your alternative FPL videos, something a little bit different with different viewpoints, but also made very differently, I cannot encourage you enough to check out FPL Nightmare. Click on his icon now, click subscribe and go back to his videos. He'll have a Monday video out almost certainly. Yeah, you'll love him. Mate, let's get you on the show very soon if we can. I'd love that. Let me know when suits. Right. XG performers so far. Expected assists so far. Saka, sky high. So Senesi also close to an assist. Low zone Senesi. Cucurella, we saw him get one late on. This takes the expected data for Saka like clearing away. The expected goal involvement, the goals and the assists combined. Saka shone. The penalty was 0.78, but he did so much more than that. And that is why so many will be selling Salah and so many will be selling Bruno, I think, to get to the main man, Bukayo. And let's talk about him later when we do Arsenal. In terms of the XG underachievers so far, if you own any of these players, you can count yourself a little bit unlucky. If you own Ahmad or Gyökeres, Szoboszlai, by the way, continues to catch my eye. Whether he's right back, number 8, number 10, he's good for DEFCON. He's getting all the minutes at Liverpool. He always offers a goal threat. Eze missing a big chance there. We'll look at that in more detail later. And Cunha, despite coming on late, he still gets the chances. Hasn't scored yet. DEFCON, we're going to go into detail game by game as well. Right. We're going to go game by game. For those that are channel members, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for like Camillo and Mackham. You can see emojis by so many names here. Rowena's in the house. Good to see you. Rowena's in the WhatsApp group. If you want to become a squad member, I'm doing videos almost on a daily basis. Like during the international break, there'll be not much content on this channel. There'll be loads of members only content, stuff that I film on my mobile when I'm on the go. If you want to see that members only content, you can become a squad tier member. Like so many in the house. John's a member too. Right. game by game. Where do we start? Oh, I think we should probably start at... I think we got to start Chelsea-Liverpool because Mo Salah's a big talking point. Let's get to Arsenal in a minute, but let's just do Chelsea-Liverpool first and foremost. Yeah, comments only on Chelsea-Liverpool or random stuff, but I'll only bring up the Chelsea-Liverpool stuff. Maliki says, how'd you sleep after that Stavial winner? And what a winner. It was definitely a fist pump moment. What's interesting is I swear by these charts. I love an XG plot. It shows the way the game went most of the time. Having watched the 90 minutes, I would not suggest Liverpool were the dominant team in this football match. Clearly, they had a higher XG total and they had a better combination of higher chances, big chances. But this got me a little bit, this chart. Usually the charts are bang on what you see. I don't think this was. Look, let me know in the comments if you disagree with this. But when you see a chart like this, you would think the game ended in a draw or a Liverpool win. Didn't play out that way. I think Chelsea were the better team throughout. I was quite surprised. So let me know if you think it's accurate or not. Obviously, the chart is accurate, but if it played the way you thought. This is what's telling, though. This area of the pitch, this zone of the football pitch is where a lot of goals are created from. And if you're passing the ball within this zone, quite often you're creating chances. And I often, therefore, look at this zone. And when I see an XG plot like this, and I go, that's wrong in my head, I go and look at the zone. I think it's zone 14 or zone 16, this part of the football pitch. Anyway, Chelsea way more in that zone, which is often telling for creating big chances. But it didn't quite play out that way. 12 chances each. Liverpool slightly bigger chances on average, but also lots of pop shots from distance from both teams and a very, very small reliance on set pieces. Look at the XG open play numbers, look at the XG set pieces numbers, and usually you'll see quite a high, just 30% to 40%, a lot of teams will have set piece XG. Well, Chelsea's XG through set pieces yesterday was like 5% and Liverpool's was 0%. I thought that was really interesting. They're looking good open play. Chelsea especially. And this is how Chelsea lined up. Two right backs and Reece James invert and Malo Gusto a little bit more advanced. I thought Gusto was a little bit sloppy, but he kind of mirrored Enzo. And if Gusto's going to play the number 8-10 hybrid role like an Enzo, then listed as a defender, he's clearly exciting. He got the assist. What was really interesting, though, despite all the centre-back injuries they covered, but the wide forwards, you've got Pedro Neto and Garnacho had really good games. And then look what happens. Gittins comes on, Estaviao comes on, and they've got two other wide forwards that can come in and change the game and win the game. And I think you take those Chelsea four wide men, and it's really difficult to predict who starts each week. Pedro Neto is the nailed first choice wide man. But then for second choice wide man, it's a bit of a coin toss between Estaviao and Garnacho, who did really well on the left. So I don't think I'll be buying any Chelsea wide forwards, but there's huge rotation. It's worth noting, Caicedo, again yesterday, another goal, 0.03 XG on this goal. But boy, can he hit them? Yes. Is he being overlooked? Certainly by engaged managers. Absolutely. I wildcarded this week. I looked at Caicedo for about a second. He's not a Gianni pick. He's not an FPL community pick. But the masses are rightly going there. He's 12% owned. A fair few more casual managers are there. And with no disrespect to a casual manager, many would go, Caicedo isn't going to keep scoring 3 goals in 7 games. It's just not going to happen. But this season he has. And maybe we need to react to new information. Maybe this is a slightly different Caicedo. But it's worth noting his XG this season has been 0.5. He should have scored half a goal. He scored 3 goals, right? But he's getting DEFCON. He's had defensive contributions this season. He's already had a 12, a 7, a 23, a 17, a 15, and 2 11s. So he actually just missed out on DEFCON against Liverpool and against Brighton. But he's getting bonus points when he gets the goals. You get clean sheet points every now and then from a Caicedo. And guys, he is the second highest midfielder in the game for points. That's nuts. He has more points than any forward in the game other than Haaland. He has more points than any defender in the game other than Timber, Gabriel and Senesi, and every midfielder in the game other than Semenyo. Caicedo is definitely one we now need to give a little bit more respect to and maybe adjust. Now, when we look at the Chelsea fixtures, they're good. They're really good. the middle of this ticker from Fantasy Football Scout, and I'm going to leave the Scout QR code on screen if you want to know more, but if you take it up to game week 13 when they play Arsenal, before that, up to game week 12, Forest, Sunderland, Tottenham, Wolves, Burnley, they're right at the top of the ticker. They're right at the top of the ticker. Bench Caicedo, had Isak, ouch. At least we had Gakpo. He'll only score 1 or 2 more goals this season, and maybe that's why we don't go there. And I think that's probably why I won't go there or why I didn't go there. I mean, look, this is his average position. He is a proper defensive midfielder. But Chelsea are really good at keeping possession. And when Chelsea keep possession, they're high up the pitch, and even the defensive midfielder finds himself in positions like this. For me, the pick is Enzo. I tweeted it during the game. I really want Enzo in my team. Whether Cole Palmer's in the team or not, Enzo's great. The benefit of Cole Palmer being out the team is Enzo's on penalties, we think. He took one earlier this season when João Pedro was on the pitch. I love Enzo at 6.5 million. I just don't know if he's better than the rest. JP needs Palmer in the team. He also needs Delap in the team, but he'll come good. Keep the faith with João Pedro. John Bolton's still a member for 19 months. Thank you. And he says, hit those likes, guys. That'd be awesome. If you fancy boosting the algorithm, for me, that would be lovely. Likewise, if you're new around here, do hit that subscribe button. I would love you to support the channel by subscribing. I've got some cool content planned in the next couple of days. Then I'll take a little break. But yeah, videos Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday this week. So stay tuned for that stuff and subscribe with the notification bell. That would, that'd be much appreciated. Okay, I think that's enough on Chelsea. Look, it looks like Cole Palmer, there's a meeting, Maresca said this week. Could be surgery. And if there's surgery, Enzo's an even better pick. Keep the faith with João Pedro. Don't buy the wide men yet. Caicedo's great, but Enzo's better if you can afford him. We've got to talk about the other team that played yesterday, though. By the way, Estavial's winner. What a ball from Cucurella. We've got to talk about the other team that played yesterday, and that is Liverpool. What's happening with Isak? Feels like we're waiting for the magic from the big players, just missing. What's missing is the combinations. The combination up front, they're lost. Like, there is no patterns of play. There's no chemistry yet between Isak and Salah. There's very little chemistry between Isak and Wirtz and Gakpo. Even Salah and Wirtz, like, I thought the start of the second half, the big chance we saw for Salah, Wirtz put it on a plate for him. A lovely, I think it was Wirtz's first touch. It's just not clicked yet. It will click, and they will start scoring goals. This isn't going to stay forever. But until they do, their press is way down on last year. When you look at their pressing stats compared to last year, it's way down. But look, rest in peace, Diogo Jota, but he was the pressing monster for Liverpool. Jota led the press so well as the night. I think we forgot that Jota's absence and Diaz's absence is massive for Liverpool. Like, those two were first choice. Diaz on the left more often than not, or Gakpo, to be fair. But Jota was first choice number 9 last season. Darwin wasn't that guy. Gakpo wasn't that guy as a number 9. And Luis Diaz came in and out of the number 9. But Diogo Jota, when fit, was the leading number 9. And he was all about the press. And I don't know if Isak's quite up to that pressing level yet. I'm sure he will be. And Slot will coach it into him. Same with Ekitike when he plays. So it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes Liverpool to click, because it is a question of when, not if. Like, make no doubt about it. And they are top of the fixture ticker, guys. Man United at home is a great entry point still for Salah. But if you're on wildcard, are you really picking Salah now? I'm not sure you are. Let me just do a question in the poll. That's weird. I can't see my... Oh, yeah, okay. So far, on the Saka poll, yeah, 30% aren't interested in him, 35% own, 37% don't own. Let me end that poll. Let's just do a Mo Salah poll, seeing as we're on Liverpool. What to do with Salah? I own and I'm holding. I own and I'm selling. I don't own and I'm buying. I don't think that's many. I don't own and I'm not interested. Sorry about that, guys. Right, let's get back on the show. Get voting in the Salah, and we'll bring that up in a second. So, yeah, 14.5 million is a lot of money if you're not captaining him. Let's just look at Liverpool for captaincy compared with Haaland. You can see Haaland's fixtures like a third of the way down. Gameweek 8, Haaland's got Everton at home. I think more likely we'll go there. Where does Salah really beat Haaland for captaincy? There's not much in it in 9, not much in it in 10. In 11, they both play each other, so it was probably a swerve. Game week 12. In game week 12, you'll captain Salah over Haaland. It's a long time to wait. By then, he might be good. For now, I don't think you do it. And so far in the poll, you've been voting. I own him and I'm holding. 15% of you. I own him and I'm selling. 6%. Interesting. I thought more of the owners would be looking to offload. I don't own and I'm buying 5, maybe a few wildcarders. But 75% of you don't own and you're not interested. Holding one more week, says Jason. Get your comments in, guys. Bonus points yesterday, as expected. Caicedo got them. Cucurella's late assist got him them. Anastadio. Defcon. It's rare, Caicedo. He either goes really high or just misses. But yeah, 11 and 11. No one got Defcon for Chelsea's midfield. James got it at the back. Gakpo 10, Sabotslai 10, just missing out as well. Glenn gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Glenn. Let's see who won that. Peter won it. There you go, Peter. One of our regulars. Always good to see one of our regulars winning a membership. I can't afford Semenyo and Saka unless I sell Salah. That's what I said about wildcard, Rowena. My decision to wildcard, a lot of it came down to I want Saka and Semenyo. So it's the first week I've owned Semenyo. So I think sell Salah and do it. I think the combination of Salah and Saka right now, we're going to talk Semenyo in a minute, but I feel like you need him in your team. Right, let's talk Arsenal and Saka. Dominant display. Arsenal are always going to do this, I think, at home against weaker oppositions. I do. I wildcarded so I can get triple Arsenal. I had no Arsenal. Thank goodness I did. Dominant from start to finish. West Ham had a big chance early on and then nothing, pretty much, until the final minutes. Arsenal consistently creating big chances. Not a huge amount of them, but the ones they created were big. And they missed a few big chances. Gyökeres, big chance missed again. I think keep the faith. Eze. Oh, let's see that Eze. This is the Eze missed chance. I think that might have been a Saka assist, by the way. But that Eze chance, like 0.76. That's what's funny is a penalty is 0.78. I would argue, I don't know, there's a lot of players in front of him and I think the ball's bouncing, but I would argue that's easier than a penalty. We have got to talk Gyökeres, was there, haven't we? Look, 21 shots. Look how many of them are in the box. Look how many of them are big chances. A lot of these are going to fall Gyökeres' way. Now, admittedly, Arsenal was always... We just saw Chelsea and Liverpool set piece XG of literally 0. Look at Arsenal's. Half their XG comes from set pieces, and this isn't new news. We know this. This is what makes Gabriel so valuable. But it's what makes Declan Rice and Saka so valuable because they take half the set pieces. So if any centre-back or Calafiori or Saliba or whoever is putting their head on a corner or a set piece, it's coming from a Saka assist or it's coming from a Rice assist. Now, Rice this season has been a good source of points. We have to talk about him. Eze is really shining now. And the Odegaard injury is massive news for Arsenal. Like, we still don't entirely know what's going on with Odegaard, but Arteta was quoted saying it's not positive. He's got a brace on his knee. Now, look, we've seen players in braces, Bruno Fernandes, make the next game. We've also seen players in braces be out for a very long time. And I think Odegaard could be facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines, given his reaction, given up Arteta's quote. Now, if that's the case, Eze is going to play central. And when Eze plays in a midfield 3, Eze's a better pick. So he gets into positions like this. He'll have high assist threat. And if he's playing in the centre of the pitch, we can see here, yesterday he played next to Odegaard. But a lot will go through Eze. And at 7.5 million, he's going to get goals. He's going to get assists. He doesn't have the pens and the set pieces that he had at Arsenal. But I would argue, pound for pound, if Gyökeres isn't on penalties, and we know Eze's not on penalties, I would argue pound for pound, let us know in the chat who you think's the better asset, pound for pound. Eze or Gyökeres. I won't say P for P again. Said it like 4 times in 20 seconds. I'm a boxing fan. I think Eze is the better pick, right? And I'm on Gyökeres and I'm keeping the faith. But if you're on wildcard right now, I'd be looking at Saka and Eze, especially if we hear that Odegaard's facing a lengthy spell out. Now, the Arsenal fixtures are great. Fulham and Palace aren't as easy as you might think. But then Burnley and Sunderland, I know they're away from home, but they're good fixtures for Arsenal. Then it's Tottenham. Chelsea's tough. Then it's Brentford, Villa, Wolves, Everton. Like, the run for Arsenal's insane. I think you have to be on a triple up. And if you're ditching a player like Gyökeres, do that so you can buy an Arsenal defender, or do that so you can buy an Eze. Don't do it and go without Arsenal, because I think they're going to be flat track bullies. I think they're going to beat lower and middling opposition. I think they might struggle in some of the bigger games, but that's fine. That's fine. So Eze for me is a really good pick. Now, yesterday, Arteta, and he has shown against Newcastle last week, he went more attacking than normal. And against West Ham, he went more attacking than normal. So many times we see a midfield of Zubimendi with Rice or Marino, and then one number 10, an Eze or an Odegaard. Well, yesterday, he went Rice as the 6, which he hasn't played in there for a long time. He went Odegaard and Eze. And I know Odegaard's now out, but it was just a show of intent from Arteta. He's playing a little bit more front foot. He's playing a little bit more aggressive. And with that, we're going to see higher ceiling games. With that, we are going to see XG plots like this. We're going to see 3.4 expected goals. Now, if Arsenal with 3.4 expected goals yesterday, if they hit their XG, let's say they score 3 or even 4, probably Gyökeres returns, probably Saka gets a double digit, and Eze probably gets a return in there, another one. They're going to be fun. And I think double attack is more fun than double defense. Double defense is great for Arsenal. They're going to keep lots of clean sheets. The problem with double defense is you're taking away, it's a one valuable spot, spending a lot of money on an Arsenal defender that might not be getting DEFCON and has a ceiling of 6 points for a player that could be 4.5 million and have a really low floor of 4 points because they're a DEFCON beast. So I just think it's about balancing it out. And therefore, like even in Raya versus Pope in goal, I think Pope can match Raya. So it's about finding substitutes in those defensive spots that can cover or match the Arsenal points. I think there's those players exist for less money. In attack, I'm not sure we can cover them as easily. I think Eze and Saka will be brilliant and possibly best in class over the next 5-6 game weeks. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, this was just an injury update from Physio Scout. This was with foreseeing the Arteta quote, so I don't think it's that relevant. West Ham, look, the fixtures are now there for West Ham. Brentford, Leeds, Newcastle, Burnley, Bournemouth. I think they're going to keep clean sheets. I went Kilman on wildcard thinking he'll be better for DEFCON. He has been up till now. But yesterday, it was Mavropanos that got 20 defensive contributions. He marked Gyökeres, though. Maybe that changes week on week, but he was responsible for Gyökeres, hence all the defensive contributions. Bowen's going to be an interesting pick. If Fulker keeps getting the minutes, if he gets a goal or two, could be a cheap forward we look at. Is Timber the best with the high XG? No, I think it's still Gabriel, but Timber is brilliant. He really is a great pick, Timber. And Calafiori and Timber, both of them, have attacking threat. Timber more for assists, Calafiori for goals. Calafiori, I think, hit the post or just... Was it a post from the edge of the area? Or was it just wide? Had a really good effort. They both got rested in the Champions League. These are the first two fullbacks. There's going to be some rotation. You're going to see Ben White come in at times. You're going to see rotation at left back. That's okay, but you might miss a Premier League game. Gabriel will play every game. We'll play every game, right? Adam sent a super chat. Thank you, mate. If you've got a question, Adam, let me know. And guys, please do. If you want to show support, don't be sending money like Adam. I mean, that's really generous, Adam, and thank you. But just a simple like and subscribe would be amazing. If you're watching on catch up, drop a comment and I will respond as well. So look, Arsenal fullbacks are great. I still think Gabriel's the pick, who, by the way, yesterday, DEFCON. Timber got DEFCON, and we woke up this morning and there was a change. They review the Opta numbers, and Timber lost a defensive contribution. He was on 10 and he dropped to 9. And that's the problem with the fullbacks. Timber Calafiori won't be as good as Gabriel for the defensive contributions. That's now twice in a row Gabriel's had it. Another 9-pointer. And you're rewarded twice. Because all those tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, they count towards the bonus point system too. So if you're hitting DEFCON and you're on a clean sheet, you don't need an attacking return to get bonus. And Gabriel is proof of that. Thank you, Paul. That's really kind of you, mate. Was Timber always on 9? I don't think he was. I think he dropped. I'm sure he went up to 10 at some point. Oh, maybe I got it wrong. I thought I saw a tweet from Tom Hadley, who's like the DEFCON king, saying they dropped him, but maybe not. Could be wrong. He could be wrong. 836 of you watching on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Guys, thank you. I'm going to keep doing these live if that's what you want. According to FPL, DEFCON, he was at 10. Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Worth noting, Bruno is still on 11. Twice in a row now. Eek. Someone says he was on 8. Someone says he was on 10. Just can't win, can we? We'll talk Strand Larson at the end when we're talking about the teams later today. I'm trying to keep this on specific per fixture, so those that watch on catch-up can just go game by game. If I start throwing in Wolves chat during Arsenal, loses that. We've got 3 really good games to get to, so stay tuned. But Bournemouth, Fulham, I know it was a Friday night game, but because of Semenyo, guys, is there people out there that don't own Semenyo? I know Rowena said earlier, if you don't own Semenyo, he needs to be a priority. And look, I've been late to the Semenyo party. Now, what is Semenyo's ownership? Without looking, let me know your percentage in the chat, what you think his ownership is. What ownership is Semenyo, guys? I'm going to look, no looking, and put your percentages in the chat. Gosh, okay. What ownership is Semenyo? I'm going to see. I think he's... Wow, okay. Ownership for Semenyo. Someone's cheating. Or maybe you just looked earlier. 60, 59, 54, 59, 39, 35, 50, 55. Wow, I would have guessed 40, but okay. You guys are 8, no, not 84, not 65. No, he's 57. He's 57, and that ranks him as the second highest owned player in the game. Only João Pedro has higher ownership. He needs to be a priority. These are the fixtures for Bournemouth. Crystal Palace and Forest up next. It's City and Villa after that, but it doesn't matter. The benefit of João Pedro is not... Semenyo is, not only is he brilliant, he has no European football, and he plays 90 minutes for a team that score goals. Now, look at this XG plot. Anyone else watch the game on Friday and go, at half-time, they're never going to score because the conditions are so bad? Now, they've added this season a bit of a chat with a manager or a player at half-time, if they can get one, Sky Sports. And Iraola spoke to the Sky Sports reporter at half-time, and he said, we need to be more patient on the ball. We're rushing, and it's because of the conditions. We're rushing. We need to take more shots because in these conditions, it's so difficult for the keepers. It's so wet. And they come out in the second half, and look at that. Straight away, big chance. Then lots of other shots. And Fulham did the same, to be fair. And Fulham were good. The difference between Fulham and Bournemouth here was just a question of quality. Fulham scored a quality goal with Sessegnon. I was going to say Sigurdsson. Sessegnon. And it was a great Fulham goal. They went 1-0 up. But the telling difference here was Bournemouth had more match winners in their team. Look at Fulham's attacking lineup, and they put Chukwueze on, they put Kevin on. They didn't have a number 9, and then he didn't start with a number 9. Semenyo, yes, he has Evan Nilsson as 9, but Evan Nilsson's a 9 that's a bit of a workhorse for others. And Semenyo is someone that can turn an opportunity when you're wide on the touchline, with the ball on the touchline, beat 2 men and score a goal from an impossible angle. And that was the difference. Someone that can just do this moment of magic. And that's what's going to win Bournemouth games. And that's what's going to get Semenyo loads of goals. The second goal, again, moment of magic. Cliver, that's a goal of the season contender. It was certainly goal of the month contender. Probably gets goal of the month. Unbelievable hit. And brilliant step over and stuff to produce the space to get there. And then the third goal, again on the counter. And they've got quality off the bench. Doak comes on, puts it on a plate for Semenyo, who then gets his mega haul. But that's what Bournemouth will do. They will always attack and score goals. And you could see Iraola at half-time. He's like, this isn't good enough. We're not shooting enough. He just wants his team to produce chances and big chances with it. So when you look at the shot map, he doesn't mind his team shooting from distance. He doesn't mind his team taking the ball on the touchline like Semenyo does, being greedy, but it turning into a miracle goal. He doesn't mind Cliver having a go from distance. Like, these players are allowed to express themselves under Iraola, and that's a huge, huge talking point from an FPL perspective because we can back their attackers. Evan Nilsson, however, they're not a team that are all about producing big chances for their number 9. They're not a Thomas Frank team. Thomas Frank will do that. It's all about producing big chances for the number 9. No, this is about the attacking midfielders behind the number 9. That Evan Nilsson's really good at working. He's really good at hold up. He's really good at bringing others in. But if you look at Evan Nilsson's, not just his numbers, not just his goals and his assists, you look at Evan Nilsson's underlying stats, they're nowhere near as good as Semenyo's. Like Semenyo is the talisman of this team, despite him playing wide left. So clearly, he's the no-brainer you buy. And look at the average position map and the pass map. A lot goes to Semenyo. A lot, and Evan Nilsson's a bit of a decoy at times. Brooks had a good game on the right-hand side. The week before, we saw Brooks and Tavernier drop out the team, and Scott. All three of them have started 5 Premier League games. Game week 6, can't remember where they went. They're away from home. He dropped all 3 of them, and they weren't as good. So in comes Tavernier, Scott, Brooks. Just like the first 5 games for game week 7. And again, we saw a really good performance. I think they're here to stay. Shame on players like Christie, who are so good, but Adams, Scott in the middle are great. Senesi didn't get DEFCON, which is interesting. But probably because Fulham didn't have a number 9, right? Didn't have much to do. They couldn't lump it long to the number 9. They didn't have one. They had Josh King up there. They had Iwobi trying to fill in. They had Wilson trying to fill in. But teams that play Bournemouth, I think the centre-back that plays Bournemouth will always get a lot of DEFCON. So it was Anderson, and they went to a back 3, but it was Anderson that played there. Ignore Lukic, who went off early. It was Diop, Bassi, and Anderson. Because Bournemouth go from back to front so quickly, the centre-backs get a lot of nods. And Anderson was that guy. Tavernier is a good player for Semenyo. Yeah, again, he's great. Evan Nilsson goals usually are feeding off scraps, reacting to rebound, etc. Absolutely, they are. Senesi was subbed so they could bring on an attacking player. Yeah, each team ended with 1 centre back on the pitch, I think. Decoy Evan Nilsson. All of those Semenyo owners bought when Harry did. Oh, maybe. Kluivert changed the game. Must play. Disappointed to see Senesi subbed. What happened there? It was just a case of getting an extra attacker on the pitch. And I think he went, Fulham aren't playing a number 9. We don't need 2 centre-backs when neither of them are marking anyone. So Diakate maybe's got more legs. I think Diakate maybe was more better at tracking if they're going to go in behind or going to go down the sides. Yeah, bonus points there on screen. Defensive contributions, Scott with 17. Unbelievable effort. And Anderson's going to be great. Semenyo, 9, getting close. You're not going to get to 12 much from Semenyo, but fair play. This year he's this year's in Burmo, and the price rise from Semenyo. Guys, do you know how much Semenyo costs now if you're about to buy him? And I bought him at 7.8, right? I was late to the party. He's now 7.9. He started the season at 7. Huge gains. I think he's fixture proof as well. Well, we saw against Liverpool, didn't we? Semenyo is absolutely needed. If you are just joining, welcome to all those that come and say hi at 9 o'clock. Go back and watch because you've missed a couple of big games. But yeah, and we've just revised on Bournemouth. Guys, you have to go buy him. You have to go buy him if you don't own him. It does look like the vast majority of you do. Only 9% of the chat don't own Semenyo, which is interesting. All right, let's go Man United, shall we? Man United, Sunderland. We still got to do Spurs as well. And we'll talk a little bit about my team as well, so stay tuned for that. If you are just joining, thank you. To have over 900 of you watching on a Sunday morning is quite frankly unbelievable. So thank you so much for the support. I would love you, if you fancy supporting the channel, to hit that subscribe button today. Only takes a second, but it really helps me out. And it helps the YouTube algorithm and gets my show out to more people. So if you could be so kind, but also hopefully because you enjoy my content, and if you like this show, you'll also like the videos I hope that I make. I do a fair few in the week. But look, let's talk Man United, shall we? Fair play, like those that kept the faith, because United were good yesterday. And you guys know me, I'm not the biggest fan of what's gone on at Old Trafford. I'm not the biggest fan of the club. A lot of my mates supported Man United when I was a kid growing up. So they're always a team I didn't like. And they were the best team, right? Everyone's cup final, Man United. But look, they were good. You can tell when Sunderland went to a back 5, says Mackham. Yeah, interesting that. And they did. They made adjustments. The stream or the show I most look forward to. Thank you, mate. So look, Man United, the XG plot shows a dominant display, and it was a dominant display. Sunderland in the second half, they created a little bit, but we also saw Bruno hit the crossbar. Brilliant save. Like, Rofes is great. As I remember turning the corner, that is way too soon. Way too soon to suggest that. We don't know the answer if Amram's turned a corner. 15 shots to 8. Good set piece threat coming from set pieces for Man United too, it must be said. We didn't get the 70th minute centre-back change. I think he waited to 85 yesterday, Gabriel, till we saw a centre-back change. Do you think Bruno is a sell playing too deep? 11 DEFCON, he's going to get loads of DEFCON. He's still a great pick. I think Saka's the much better pick, though. If I'm between Bruno and Saka, I'm going Saka all day long. In fact, let's do it. Let's just do pick one. Not who do you own. If you could only own one. If you could only own one, would it be Bruno or Saka? I think this might be a split pot because Saka, look, he comes with a lot of routes to points. But obviously, if we think Saka's on pens now, I think Arsenal will still share the pens around. But Saka, yeah. Saka for me. I mean, I didn't even look at Bruno on wildcard, not going to lie. But I know there's a lot of managers out there that I really respect and that are very good at FPL that see Bruno as a must-have. That's not me. I didn't even put him in a draft. I didn't even get close to putting Bruno in a draft. He's just not a Janny pick when he's playing this deep. I like open play goal threat as well as all the extra routes. Look, I might pick him at some point. I owned Bruno last season. Just at the moment, I'm not seeing enough. And the Man United fixtures, guys, they're not kind. Like, let's look at Man United now because they've gone from like a really nice 2-game run to Liverpool away. Brighton at home is going to be tough. Forest away is a good fixture now, probably. Tottenham away is going to be tough. Everton at home, fine. Palace away, tough. West Ham at home, good. Wolves. Look, from game week 14, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Villa. That's not bad. Think of Burma versus Saka is a closer one. Yeah, true. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You go Saka, in my opinion, there over Burmo. Yeah, 89%. I thought that was going to be more split on the Saka versus Bruno debate. 89% are saying they'd go Saka. And Burmo's average position map's always sexy, and Ahmad added so much. Worth noting, guys. Shout out Cameron, one of my Ultras members. Amarim loves Diogo Dalot. And more often than not, he squeezes him in the team. And he's been playing right wing back because Ahmad's been out. And then as soon as Ahmad's back, he drops the guy no one thinks is going to get dropped. And that's because he's been quite good and he's the only natural left-sided player in Dorgu. Dalot comes in for Dorgu. I thought it was really interesting. He loves Dalot. And Dalot always puts in a shift, to be fair. I think Dalot's a perfectly good player. But yeah, Amarim rates him perhaps higher than some of the fans. So just beware of Dorgu and Ahmad, because Dalot will always get a start more often than not. Dalot's poor, Dar's horrible, Dad's horrendous. Yeah, you guys United fans, I expect you are. The manager really rates him. Yeah, this is interesting. Said it on one of your previous streams, says McDonald. Still tempted to go triple captain Salah because Man United are bad. Look, Man United defensive numbers yesterday were all right. Just bear that in mind. And Sunderland are no mugs. Like, they conceded only 0.5 XG open play. Very few shots for Sunderland. But going to Anfield's going to be tough. The way Liverpool playing, though, I wouldn't be there. He does love Mount. Every manager loves Mount. Mount takes instructions so well. He fits into any system. Tuchel loved him. Frank Lampard loved him. Amarim loves him. Southgate went through a phase of loving him when he was fit. Mason Mount is a teacher's pet. Mason Mount's brilliant. I love him too. Money Mace. Sesko's fine. I don't think you're going to get explosiveness from Sesko. I'm not going to lie. We're hearing here in Australia, Ange might already be gone if they lose this game. Wow. Guys, so cool to have people watching from Australia and everywhere. Guys, if you feel free to drop in your country where you're watching from, it always intrigues me. I did it at the start of the show, but it's always fun to see. Probably not going to flash too many up, but let me know where in the world you're watching from because I love reading them. So look, I still think Man United are a swerve given the fixtures. And Mount took his goal so well. In terms of Sunderland, Mukiele out defconned Alderete again. We saw the local lad centre-back come on again early on as they move things around. Xhaka central to everything. We saw Bertrand Traore get the start. Looked quite sharp. Yes, come on, the Aussies. Loads of Aussies and South Africa. Norwich to Sweden. Love that. Guernsey and Malaysia. Sesko, though, when you score a goal and you're a forward, you get points, don't you? You just do. That's how the bonus point system works. If you're a forward and you score goals, or a goal in the game and it's a low-scoring game, you're going to end on 2 or 3 bonus. And fair play, that's what happened. Casemiro's good for DEFCON. He got it. Bruno 1 short again. Bruno owners must be so annoyed with that. And Xhaka again hitting DEFCON. Ballard, forgot his name earlier. Ballard comes on and gets DEFCON straight away. He's a beast at the back. He's not first choice when they play a 4 though. And I don't think he will be. Mukiele, who I went with on wildcard, is a DEFCON beast too. He's better than Alderete. He takes the long throws, Mukiele, remember. Sunderland defender short term. Look, I bought a Sunderland defender pretty much stay on my bench. When we look at the Sunderland fixtures moving forward, we've just said don't go on Man United ahead of Liverpool. Sunderland are right at the bottom of the ticker. Although Wolves, Chelsea, Everton Wolves and Everton at home are good fixtures for them. I fancy them to beat Wolves and Everton, to be fair, at home. Certainly beat Wolves at home. Although Wolves were good last time out against Spurs, weren't they? Okay, let's move away from Man United. Let's go to Leeds Spurs, because again, this was a game which flipped. Leeds looked the better team when we look at this XG plot. When you look at the shot map, it's going to be the same. Yet they weren't clinical enough. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we see it all the time. We see it all the time with Calvert-Lewin. He gets into the areas, he gets the shots, and he's not clinical enough. Dominic Calvert-Lewin missed big chances again yesterday. And I know some on wildcard will go there because the underlying data is going to be all right. Although his XG was only 0.15, his XA was 0.32. The fixtures are there for Calvert-Lewin. They really are. Like, he's got Burnley and West Ham as an entry point up next. And for bench boosters, but maybe just those that want to start him short term, yeah, I don't mind the shout. He is a cheap option. How much does Dominic Calvert-Lewin cost? 5.5. With good fixtures up next. A lot of the big chances will fall his way. And Leeds are all about building chances for their 9. You're not going to see a huge amount of points, I don't think, by the attacking mids. Longstaff's interesting at 4.9. He was good. Xavi was disappointing. And Stack wasn't on all the corners. Yeah. Stack also got an early sub, Nick. So look, Spurs, fair play. I thought the Tell goal was superb. Tell also hit the bar with a header. Richarlison's never been a pick for me, and I've said that a lot on these streams. Tell got the number 9 spot. Simmons was disappointing. But what have I said since day one? If you're going to buy a Spurs attacker, it has to be Mohamed Kudus. I say it every week. He is Thomas Franks and Burmo. He's playing... Chai has just joined, and he's heard me say this time and again. And Chai picked Kudus. Chai and I are so aligned when it comes to like FPL assets we like. And we said straight away, like, if you're going to pick a Spurs asset, we say it on our Scout stream, and you can join us later at 6 o'clock-ish for Scout. We said it on day one when he joined Spurs, and we said it after Gameweek 1 when he obviously caught the eye and got the assists. If you're going to buy a Spurs attacker, it has to be Kudus. Now, on wildcard, I thought about Kudus, but I wasn't close to going there because I hadn't seen enough from the Spurs attack. And yes, he's the standout attacker for the team, but I'm worried Spurs aren't producing enough chances to invest there. And I went with Sarr at the same price point, and I think Ismaila Sarr is the better pick than Kudus. But look, time will tell. Maybe he's not. Time will tell on that one. And that's because Sarr, I think, is playing for a more exciting team that creates more. It's worth noting, Spurs didn't create much yesterday. An open play XG of 0.91 isn't great for a game against a newly promoted team. But they scored the goals and they were clinical. Kudus has never really been a numbers man. It's worth noting at West Ham, he wasn't a lethal finisher. Maybe Thomas Frank changes that and he creates the Brian and Burmo. So at the moment, the average position map's the same as in Burmo's. The eye test is the same as in Burmo's. What he doesn't have from Burmo is the finish. That can change. And Thomas Frank can coach that into him. Brian Burmo wasn't one of the best finishers in the Premier League when he joined Brentford, but Thomas Frank converted him to that. I'm not saying he's going to convert Kudus into that, but he's certainly going to try. Yeah, drop Kudus on wildcard. Look, it was a fine decision. It was a fine decision. It didn't work out for you, but you hadn't seen enough from Spurs in the last few weeks, and that's fair enough. They've also got the midweek football, and Kudus, unlike a Wilson Odegaard, Odebert, or a Xavi Simmons, Kudus won't see a huge amount of rotation. He will get a lot of starts in the week. Now, Porro, DEFCON. Yeah. Porro clean sheet wipeout in the 34th minute, and then DEFCON and an assist late on. I sold Porro on wildcard And I'm okay with that decision. It's annoying, got the 7 points, but I'm fine with that decision. He is expensive for what you get. He also did get an assist in the Champions League, it's worth noting. But look, back to Kudus. The Ghanaians are on fire. Now, interesting piece of information here, which blows my mind a little bit. Ghana produce the best footballers in Africa. I always look at the team sheets in Africa, and I look at Ivory Coast, and I look at Egypt, and I look at Morocco, and they're all really good teams. I always think Ghana have got the best team on paper. Senegal are another one. Always have a good team. I always look at Ghana and go, you're right up there with Egypt, Morocco, Senegal. How the hell are Ghana not going to AFCON? What happened? Because you could argue Semenyo and Kudus right now are in the Nigeria, I should have mentioned. Semenyo and Kudus right now are probably in the top 5 players in Africa in terms of attacking players, right? You might, Lookman, I think, is the current, and Osman. Obviously Salah, maybe Marmoush, whatever. But on form, Semenyo and Kudus are right up there. How are Ghana not going to AFCON? Anyway, just worth noting, you won't even need to sell these guys when you get your 5 free transfers. Yeah, they're absolutely huge. Yeah, Cameroon, when I was growing up, Cameroon, yes. Shout out Samuel Eto'o. But not so much anymore. Yeah, Tony Yeboah, King of Ghana. Love that. I'm looking forward to AFCON, guys. Not going to lie. I might even be going, if the wife will allow it, I might even be going to Morocco to watch a game. I'm well into it. Anyway. And if I watch a game, it's going to be, I'm doing some work with the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, who are there, and Johan Visser is their best player. So I could be watching Visser at AFCON in Morocco, but the problem is it's the dates. They play just before Christmas and then just after Christmas. And I'm like, don't know if I can pass that by the wife for a 2-day trip to Morocco. We get the 5 transfers game week 16. You'll have some African players, I guarantee it. It might be an Ike Nori by then. It might be you're going to have Semenyo, although you don't have to transfer him out. It might be a Salah back then. He might step it up. There's still a fair few players going to AFCON that will make it into FPL teams. I've got no doubt. Okay, let's just mention Leeds. Calvert-Lewin. We talk about number 9s and we talk about teams focusing on their 9 and creating big chances for the 9. Calvert-Lewin is that guy. I just don't think he's the output merchant we need him to be. He was turned into a brilliant output monster for about 6 months under Ancelotti. Ancelotti compared him to Inzaghi. He was like, he's my Inzaghi. He's there for the tap-ins. We've never really seen it over a longer period than that under his spell at Ancelotti, where he's become really good at converting chances and overperforming XG over time. Yesterday, he should have scored, in my opinion. Missed a couple of good chances. Imagine if Algeria's best didn't play for France. Look, you could say the same for Senegal. You could say the same for a fair few countries. For France, there's a lot of world-class French Africans that move to France early, or they're born in France, or they just pick France. Didier Drogba could have played for France, played for Ivory Coast, you know. Anyway, yeah, and Burmo is Cameroon's main man, isn't he? Yeah, he is Cameroon. Yeah. In terms of DEFCON, shout out Pedro Porro owners. Bentancur got it. Ampadu's getting it, and Bogle at right back as well. Interesting. My team. I hate mid-game week ranks. I try not to look at them. I try not to discuss them too much. So we're not going to discuss rank, but I'm on a grey arrow. But when you've got 5 or 6 players to play, it's just so irrelevant. Like, I've got Pope, Richards, Sarr, Minter, double Haaland. Effectively, I've got 6 of my 12, you could say, if you count captaincy. I do have a player that can really hurt me, though. I decided to bench Reinders, knowing full well his ownership, knowing full well it's a good fixture. I just have got this feeling about Minter that I had to play him. It was between Minter and Reinders. You have to play Sarr the way he's playing. Morocco is Jamal. Well, it doesn't, does it? That's the point. But yeah, I give Sarr and Minter, please. Yeah, look, I've wildcarded in some differentials. My wildcard was always going to be like a mixture of template and differential. And of course, I've got template picks like Semenyo and Haaland and João Pedro. But I also went with double Arsenal attack because I had this feeling about Saka. I also went Salah, who's 5% owned at my rank, and Minter at 4% at my rank. So I'm hoping my bravery there with some differentials pays off. Nick Pope in goal over Raya. So let's see. Today's going to be a really fun day, and I'm excited for the football. And I'm excited to be bringing you back these streams, guys. If you want to know more in the international break from me, I'm going to be doing loads of members only videos in the international break, but they are behind a paywall for members only. So if you want to join the squad, you can. So yeah, thank you guys as always for your support. I would like to just give one final shout out though to all of our mods and our channel members currently in the chat. Loads of you are in. Really, as always, coming in. Prainers Rinders saves your bench boost. Yeah, good luck. In terms of early thoughts for game week 8, I think there's going to be a lot ditching Bruno to Saka. I think there's going to be a lot ditching Salah to Saka. But I still think Haaland's going to continue to be our captain. Salah versus United's interesting because he always does well at Anfield against United. Guys, enjoy Sunday's football. Thank you for watching. I'll be back, as always, on these Sunday debriefs, live when I can. On the way out, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would be much appreciated. And I will see you for another video on this channel, either later tonight. Yeah, later tonight. See you later with my early thoughts. Bye-bye.